Hey, welcome to the Richard Sherman podcast brought to you by The Volume. I appreciate you joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe to our videos. We'll love to see you every week. Welcome back. It's insanity. The National Football League has lost its mind, and that is true.
Richard, just another week, another Sunday, chaos ensuing, red zones on all day, and we saw a couple good ones. I want to start in Minnesota. I know you got the ties to a certain head coach on the New York Jets. Well, walk me through your buddy Mike White's performance down the stretch. I know you're hurt, Rich.
Mike White played a phenomenal ball game, threw 2 interceptions. You know, the second one, he no matter what, he had to put the ball up, give his team a chance. He tried. The first one, tip ball, hit the receiver's hands. He tipped up in the air. Unfortunate, but overall played a fantastic game. Threw for 350 yards. Gave him a chance at the end. Berrios just catch the ball, hold on to the ball, and we're talking about a whole different celebration. And then Mike White tries to drive him down the field again, but there's a lot of promise here. I think Jets fans feel a lot more comfortable with what they're seeing out of Mike White. The receivers feel a lot more comfortable. The offense seems to just be executing better, even with the injuries. Imagine Breece Hall in this offense with everything he's doing right now. I mean, good night. It'd be nice. But you got to give credit to the Minnesota Vikings. They're 10-2. They're 9-0 and one-score ball games. They're finding ways to get it done no matter what. That was a huge challenge for the Jets, and they answered the bell. But, man, the what if.
Mike White is giving them life. I mean, I love this Jets team despite this loss. Mike White has made Garrett Wilson extremely relevant. 9 receptions, 162 yards. Your guy, a friend of the program, Quinnen Williams, had a big game too. They couldn't come out, but playing in Minnesota is no easy task. They're at Buffalo next week, though, Rich. It does not get any easier.
I feel good about that, though. Buffalo's looked very mortal these last couple games. We saw them last week. We saw them against your Detroit Lions. Looked very mortal, down to a last-second crazy drive. Great throw by Josh Allen to get him all the way down there, but they were reeling, and they have been reeling the past couple games. And the game we just watched, they dominated the New England Patriots, but they were just overwhelmed. They don't have the talent. Jets have the talent to deal with them, and they have got better guy playing quarterback than when they beat them before. I feel good about the Jets in this ballgame. I feel good about this Jets team overall. They started slow defensively, gave up some scores on the ground, and then they picked it up in the second half. They only gave up 1 touchdown. And they were playing lights out. And I think going forward, Mike White's going to, he struggled a little bit in the first half. And then he found his rhythm in the second half. He got more comfortable. And that's huge for him and his growth. I just hope that Saleh and the Jets coaches continue to give him opportunities and don't take him out when he's starting to gain his confidence. I mean, I hope they treat him like they would if Zach Wilson had this kind of game.
No question. Let's move out west. San Francisco 49ers at home against Miami. Not the game we predicted, but Brock Purdy had a nice Mr. Irrelevant becomes extremely relevant now, Richard.
Jimmy!
Walk me through San Fran's game.
Oh, Jimmy. Oh, this is heartbreak. This is terror. This is nightmare scenario for the San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy G, who was saving the season, goes out, and Brock Purdy does a very solid job. Kyle Shanahan deserves a ton of credit for what he was able to do with Brock Purdy on a short notice. Brock Purdy didn't probably get any first-team reps, I would imagine, the entire week. Went out there and executed, got the job done. Christian McCaffrey, but the defense, Eric Armstead, Nicholas John Bosa, Jimmy Ward. Those are the names you need to be talking. Jimmy Ward, Nicholas John Bosa, the player of the year, the defensive player of the year, Nicholas John Bosa. And they didn't even give him a comeback player. He should have been our first-team All-Pro. Don't get me started on Nicholas John Bosa. He better be a first-team All-Pro this year, and he better, if he's not at least first or second in that Defensive Player of the Year vote, you guys are doing it wrong. Their guys having great seasons, but he's having impact. The sack at the end of the game pretty much shut the game down. Sack, forced fumble, 4 touchdown. Who's doing it like that? Who's doing it like that? And Eric Armstead, the kingpin, I told people, when the 49ers get Eric Armstead back, it's going to be different. And it is. And I'm sure Nicholas John Bosa would tell you himself the kind of impact that Eric Armstead makes. I'm sure Jimmy Ward on that interception when Eric Armstead's being held and making a tremendous impact on a quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa would tell you the impact that Eric Armstead makes. I mean, it's remarkable.
Richard, I don't doubt it. I mean, this game convinced me because last week when they beat the Saints, I mean, we talked about it. Yeah, you got the shutout, but you only scored 13 points. You know, it was kind of that it left you wanting more. And then this game, Miami, 75 yards to the house, first play of the game, and you're like, oh boy, you know, we're in for a little bit of a shootout. And then all of a sudden, you know, San Fran just takes control of the game and never relinquishes it. But they lose Jimmy G in the process, Rich. What does this mean? We don't know how long he's out. I mean, maybe you know more than we know, but what does this leave this team with?
Questions, Mitchell. It leaves them with a lot of questions, Mitchell. I was talking to Fitzmagic, telling him to warm up his arm because they need a veteran quarterback to back him up regardless. You know, they have one quarterback on the roster right now with Jimmy G banged up. Like, there aren't a lot of answers, and the trade window's gone. So it's not like they can, hey, packing some draft picks, go get a nice veteran that's backing somebody up. You have very few options. You hope you can get somebody that they're familiar with or a young guy you're familiar with, somebody you're comfortable with, and you go that direction. But man, it's tough. It's tough. Brock Purdy got it done, you know, and in the moment, everybody's excited. Everybody's happy. That's a tough defense to go against, especially as a rookie. There's zero pressure in them all day. Like, they're playing man-to-man in the back end, but you got to come up with answers. You know, you have to have a backup quarterback. Right now, I don't know what they do.
No. Well, it's going to be, the questions are, and we're just now getting word that Jimmy G broke his foot, Richard, live on air right now. Jimmy G with a broken foot. San Francisco is going to have questions that they're going to need to answer, and they're going to need to answer them quickly because they have a championship team. This quarterback position is, I feel so bad, Rich, but this is, I don't even know what to say. I want your reaction. He's out for the season.
I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, 49ers fans always feel cursed. They feel like this is the curse of Levi's, but I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do. I really don't know what you do. You trust Brock Purdy. You cheer for Brock Purdy. You hope Brock Purdy works out because that's the only opportunity. That's all you got at this point. You don't have any other choice.
Well, Richard, I mean, a team that probably sees some life here in this division now, and that's rattling. Jimmy G out for the season, broken foot. We're going to move to Seattle, though. Seattle and the Rams. Your buddy Geno, the Seattle Seahawks, talk about underwhelming. They were supposed to smack the Rams, understaffed, you know, didn't have their starting quarterback, didn't have Aaron Donald, you know, didn't have their all-pro wideout, Cooper Kupp. But Seattle snuck it out in the end, Rich. And Geno Smith is 6 consecutive games of 100-plus passer rating. That's a franchise record.
A franchise record? What franchise, Mitchell? It could not be the Seattle Seahawks.
That's what it says.
They just lost their all-time greatest quarterback. So not a quarterback in his first year starting, going 6 straight 100-plus passer rating in his first year and breaking it's not. Oh my God! Not a Pete Carroll quarterback doing. I don't know. And not a Pete Carroll quarterback throwing for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, clutch fourth quarter comeback. Whatever, Mitchell. Whatever. Because this Rams defense, I mean, they don't have an all-pro corner, and he threw it on Jalen Ramsey. He threw the game-winning touchdown on Jalen Ramsey. That's what was crazy. DK was going at it all game. He had a unnecessary roughness or a penalty for going at it with Jalen earlier in the game. So I know they were going at it. That play right there, though, was wild. Geno Smith leading the NFC in Pro Bowl voting. He should be leading the NFL because he's doing it. He's doing it. He needs to get over the water this year. Well, not over the water at Disneyland, Orlando, or is it in Vegas now? I don't know. They're not even playing the game. It don't even matter. He needs to get a Pro Bowl.
Someone wake me up. I must be in a dream. There's no way Geno Smith is leading the NFC in Pro Bowl voting this late in the season, but by God, I think it's reality, man.
Mitchell, you ain't dreaming, baby. Geno is playing some good football. You're going to look up this offseason and see Geno making more than $30 million, 35, potentially $40 million, because somebody going to have to pay Geno to do what he's doing for them, because it's not fluky throws. He is out there threading the needle. He is He is saying, hey, this is the guy y'all was looking for out of West Virginia. It took me a second to get here, but hello.
His receivers have to love him too, Rich. I mean, Tyler Lockett, 9 receptions, 128 yards, tutty. DK, as you said, big game, 8 receptions, 127 yards, tutty. I mean, Geno has become a fan favorite in Seattle, but he did get into it on the sidelines with our boy K9, Kenneth Walker III. Any insight on that?
Rookies need to be seen and not heard. I don't give a dang how good your season going. Yeah, K9, nice, cool. You're a rookie. Sit down and shut up. Sit down and shut up. You don't get to say stuff. Rookie, you're seen, not heard. I don't need to hear what you're saying. I'm the quarterback. I'm the vet. What I say goes, right, wrong, or indifferent. You sit there and you accept it and nod your head. But think about the position that Seattle Seahawks are in right now. Mitchell, they're battling for a playoff spot. They are in the battle for the division right now. Mitchell, they got two rookie tackles that are more than likely going to find themselves on the all-rookie team. They got a corner that might find himself on the all-pro team, might find himself defensive rookie of the year. You got Geno balling. You got 2 receivers who both had 100 yards because that's how they doing it now. Oh, Lockett had 128 and DK had 127. They said, hey, we going to have that kind of game. Uchenna Nwosu. Mitchell, who is that? He got 10 sacks on the season. Mitchell making himself some money. And guess what, Mitchell? They got a draft pick in this upcoming draft, Mitchell, that's getting better and better.
Let's stay. I mean, it's going to be a top 5 pick, Rich. This team can address a serious need. If the season we're in now, what do you do with the top 5 pick?
I don't know. Seattle always do something crazy with it. I'd have to call John and figure it because he's going to do something wild with it. He ain't just going to do the conventional, hey, we're going to pick the best available player. I mean, he has done that a couple times, but he's not picked this high ever in his tenure here. So what I would assume they would do is sell it for a king's ransom and move back a few spots. They're going to get a king's ransom, probably a few more good players, another good pick, and then pick a good player. Because if they feel comfortable at the quarterback spot and other quarterback-needy teams feel they need to move up, they're going to charge them a king's ransom and get the guy they were going to get anyway. They're not going to overdraft at that spot, but that's a great spot to be in. When you got your tackles of the future, you got your corner of the future, they addressed the main concerns. You got the quarterback of the future. You got 2 really good receivers. You got a Pro Bowl safety. Oh, my goodness, Mitchell. You got a DN that's playing like a Pro Bowler. Oh, Mitchell.
That's what I love about this franchise. Everyone thought it was the end. When the end-all, be-all, Russell Wilson leaves town, the guy that won them their Super Bowl, Rich.
Right. That's it.
Right.
Him.
The franchise is over. How about no, Rich? I mean, I've been on this earth for 35 years, battling the battle I have, waiting for the Detroit Lions just to win one playoff game. I'm thinking finally these Seattle fans get a taste of the medicine. They can dip to the bottom of the league for a few years and see how it feels. But no, I mean, and then they host the Panthers next week. I mean, this team, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but they're going in a division rival following week against Brock Purdy and the 49ers now. Richard, there's a runway for this team to win this division, and I didn't see it a couple weeks ago.
And Mitchell, you couldn't have seen it. I don't think they saw it, but they feel good about every spot they're in, Mitchell. They're on house money. They're playing with house money regardless of the outcome, regardless of everything. They're on house money, and they're having a good time. With Geno Smith playing the way he is, I mean, your boy K9 was having a heck of a year. They've kind of bottled him up lately. He's got a little banged up this week, but they feel so incredibly happy with everything that's going on with the rookies, with Geno, with the receivers, with the pass rush defensively. They're still figuring things out, but they couldn't be happier. And then the draft pick, oh my goodness, Mitchell. This was supposed to tear the Seattle Seahawks franchise apart. This trade was supposed to be, oh my God, everybody who ranked this an A for the other team. Mitchell, it is silly. It is absurd. Geno Smith is top 5 in almost every category, Mitchell. He's top 5 in touchdowns. He's probably top 5 in yards now. He was 6 before the game. He's top 5 in passer rating.
I'm so happy for Pete Carroll and John Schneider. I feel terrible for John Elway. Holy cow. I mean, good night.
Mitchell, I told you, people going to lose their jobs. Like, when they start firing people, Mitchell, because of this, it ain't nobody to blame but themselves. But whatever, I got you. The Bengals, for the 3rd time in a row, beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitchell, Joe Burrow, they was mad coming in. They had an attitude, Mitchell. They had an attitude. You know why? Because my guy, my Stanford guy, Justin Reed, pissed them off. Mitchell, he didn't even know the tight end's name. He didn't even know his name.
Justin Reed wasn't even part of this rivalry. He just joined it. I mean, maybe he should keep his mouth shut or just focus on kicking the football. You know, I mean, I'm pretty impressed with that still. But
that was pretty impressive.
That very impressive. But Richard, since he comes from behind, wins this game late, it was a pretty underwhelming game from Patrick Mahomes. You know, he only threw for 223 and a touchdown. Even more underwhelming for Travis Kelce. Big time fumble late in that game, giving Cincinnati incredible life. But Cincinnati has gotten super hot of late. They've won 4 in a row on the season. Is this a team? Do they creep into Richard Sherman's top 25 power ranks at this point?
25, Mitchell. We ain't going to 5.
I'm sorry. Top 5. I'm thinking college basketball or something over here, Rich.
But Mitchell, they may because they hotter than fish grease. They're like the anti-Arizona Cardinals because at the Arizona Cardinals second half of the season, you know, it's going to be under 500. They, second half of the season, just like last year, they got hot and they got hot all the way to the Super Bowl and almost pulled it out. Wow. You got Joe Burrow going from, you know, early on, they were one of the worst offensive lines in football. And now Joe Burrow is sitting there saying, hey, these are some of the best offensive linemen. This is the best offensive line in football. That is a crazy turnaround. You know, let's now talk about Samaje Perine. Like, my goodness, 21 for 106. They needed that run game. They needed it, Mitchell. They needed it. And Jamar Chase comes back, almost had 100 piece. T. Higgins, clutch catch at the end of the game. Like, they just have so many weapons, and you can keep saying that. But they do. They have so many weapons, and they're very difficult to stop. And I've not seen anybody play Patrick Mahomes that well. You know, Patrick Mahomes completed 16 passes for 223. Sounds like a pretty good game, but it's really a pretty middle-of-the-road game for what you expect from Patrick Mahomes, especially in a game where they needed Travis Kelce, 4 for 56. And that's a low game for him, talking about when you need it. And it's their first loss in December, which is crazy since 2018. Like, wow. But they gave the Bills the number one. Like, these playoffs, this number one seed is going to matter. You do not want to go to Buffalo.
I was going to say, I certainly wouldn't want to go to Buffalo. I don't even want to go to Buffalo on just a random visit, let alone try to play a football game up there.
Mitchell, you go to Buffalo. Patrick Mahomes go to Buffalo. First off, it's going to be cold. It's going to be loud. Mitchell, they're going to be jumping through tables. Like, Bills Mafia. Mitchell, they going to pull the fire alarm at their hotel. Mitchell, they pulling out all the stops. They got to go to Buffalo. So what they want to do is stay out of Buffalo.
I got a firsthand look at Buffalo on Thanksgiving. They look pretty darn good, Rich. I'm telling you, they get home field advantage. I think it's theirs to lose. But this Cincy team is getting hot at the right time for the second year in a row. The Chiefs haven't won a game in Cincy since 1984. Rich, that's before we were alive. That seems like a random stat, but it's the truth.
That's crazy. And Mitchell, it's going to get better for the Broncos. Like, they're going to turn this around. But you know when they ain't going to turn it around, Mitchell? Next week. Because they got the Kansas City Chiefs. So you talk about Mitchell. You talk about adding an insult to injury. Mitchell, you score. Go ahead. Score 9 points against the Kansas City Chiefs.
I have a feeling that game was probably supposed to be prime time. I'm guessing they flexed it out because we can touch on the Broncos. I mean, I feel like we have to because they played in a game against the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson. I mean, let's just talk about the injury then, Rich, because this game it means a heck of a lot more with this injury to Lamar. I mean, if you're Lamar, what are you doing?
Mitchell, I'm not playing again. You heard John Harbaugh say it could be a couple of day-to-day. It could be week-to-week. Cool. That's cool. It's over with for me. I'm healed up. I'm going to heal up, baby. Y'all go ahead and figure it out. I'll talk to y'all in the offseason when it's time to pay. Y'all get your checkbook out because y'all didn't want to give me any kind of security. So seeing as I'm hurt, I don't want to make this more severe. So I'll vote with you.
I'm out.
Doing, Mitchell. I'm out. I got nothing else for you. I did my best. Good luck to y'all. Y'all boys, go get them. Go get them. Because
and if I'm Ravens management, hey, I just won with Tyler Huntley behind center, you know? I mean, we got a chance without you. It don't matter.
All right. Mitchell. All right. Okay, go with that plan. Y'all go do it. I'm going to go rehab over here. And I see y'all September-ish. Okay, unless y'all want to pay. Y'all don't want to pay, I see y'all in September. If y'all don't call me unless y'all calling me with the money. I'm not talking about stacks of money to my ear. Hit my agent. Make sure it's guaranteed.
This guy needs to get paid right now. Baltimore is 8-4. They got a lot of life the rest of the season, and they snuck one out. Thankfully, they're playing Denver. This defense for Denver has just did they even show up this week? Did they even come to practice, or is this
Mitchell? Justin Simmons had 2 interceptions. Mitchell. Deshaun Williams had 2 sacks. There are headlines out there saying that Denver's defense let them down. That it's a letdown because they scored 1 touchdown, Mitchell. They scored 1 touchdown. They had a game-winning drive at the end, Mitchell. You know what's frustrating about that, Mitchell? Is you hold a team to 10 points, Mitchell, you expect to win.
Sure.
When they hold a team to 10 points, Mitchell, you expect to win. That got to be a win. That got to be a win. Mitchell, when they held the San Francisco 49ers to 10 points, they scored 11. Mitchell, they won. But if you're gonna score 9 points, you bet needs to not be a headline at all talking about a defense at all. Like what you need to be talking about is 9 points. Because next week, they got Patrick Mahomes twice before this season ends, Mitchell. They played him twice. Score 9 points if you want to. Score 9 points if you want to, Mitchell. You gonna get laughed off that field. And they upset. They just lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. They're coming into this game with a chip on their shoulder.
I got to ask a difficult question because I feel like you said, some people are going to start getting fired. How much longer does Nathaniel Hackett have?
I don't know, Mitchell. Because who you going to hire after him? This isn't going to be a desire. You're not getting Sean Payton to come out of retirement to coach this team. You could get him potentially to coach this defense, but you're not feeling good about an offense because you're not seeing like, okay, I could see how this could work out. I could see, like, they're stuck. They're stuck like Chuck. So is D'Amico Ryans, who's going to be a head coach next year, does he take this job? Like, can you even fire the D coordinator? You can't. You can't fire him with the way that defense is playing.
Heck no.
No. But would he take the head coaching job? I don't know. Like, so you ask when they're going to fire Nathaniel Hackett. How does that solve anything? What does that solve? Fire him. Okay. What you going to do now? There's some magic. Like, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, Mitchell. And right now it's looking like artificial turf.
The Broncos have scored 11 points or less in 6 of their 12 games this season and have scored a whopping 45 total points in the last 4 games. My hometown Detroit Lions just slapped a 40-piece on the board today, Rich. And I got news for you, and I got news for our listeners. Make sure you keep your eyes open here because the Detroit Lions are a team that they're going to make a run, and we're going to have an emergency press conference here, Richard and I are, announcing their entry into the postseason for the first time in several years. Rich, this team, I'm making a bold call here. They're going to make the playoffs, Rich. I'm going to leave it at that.
We'll leave it there because that tie between the Giants and the Commanders,
it hurts.
It's going to be weird. It's going to make things weird at the end. It's going to be some kind of weird tiebreaker. We're going to go deep into the books on this one, but you heard it here first. So we'll have to play this again if they make those playoffs. But their offense is explosive. Amon-Ra, St. Brown. doing it very dynamic. Jared Goff getting it done defensively. They're playing solid enough. I mean, it could be, but they needed that Thanksgiving game, Mitchell. That's the one they needed. Yeah, that's the one you're kicking yourself over. You know, you're kicking yourself in the kneecaps or whatever they're eating over there and biting people in. But oh my God.
Let's talk about the Giants in this Commanders game because it was a good one. I just don't, from my perspective, Rich, and I'm anxious for your opinion. I'm not in love with either one of these teams. I think, frankly, the Giants are a beneficiary of a pretty weak schedule. I mean, it's cool that they got a winning record and all, but like I could see them totally tail spinning down the stretch. And the Commanders, like, yeah, they've been hot of late, but like, is this for real? Like,
I never liked playing for a tie, Mitchell, and they got to play for the win. But you know, that's why I don't watch soccer. I'm not a big soccer fan because I just can't wrap my head around games that end in ties in any sports. Like I just feel like I wasted time. Like, okay, so it's a draw. Let's keep playing. So it's not a draw anymore. Like, are we just we're leaving it at that? Okay, all right, I'm done. But I'm with you. I mean, but you're gonna see these teams right now. They're in the playoffs. They're in the playoffs. So it's not going to be exciting. It's not going to be, you know, but they've been dangerous. This team is playing for Taylor Heineke. I'm not afraid of any of them. You know, I think it's going to be the 49ers and the Eagles in the NFC Championship in Philadelphia. And I think it's going to be a dogfight. Now, is Brock Purdy going to get it done? If Brock Purdy takes the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl and wins it, I'm just going to cut my phone and computer off for a really long time because I cannot imagine what Twitter and Instagram and all that is going to look like. My goodness, they may build him a statue. Mr. Irrelevant taking a team to a Super Bowl and winning it. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
You know, he looked like he belonged out there. I was impressed with him. A 7th round guy coming in there. You expect a lot of what you saw from Zach Wilson all season, right? I mean,
no, you
here's
don't.
A guy that
no, you don't. Mitchell, we don't expect that from National Football League quarterbacks.
Well,
you know.
Rich, we had one other big game this week, and it was the Philadelphia Eagles at home against the Tennessee Titans. A.J. Brown, as you categorize him, always open. A.J. Brown, this is a big game for him against his former team, and he delivered 8 receptions, 119 yards, 2 tutties. Philly just seems more and more real by the week. Is this the team to beat in the NFL right now?
Mitchell, I got so much nonsense from Tennessee fans when I said they were missing all day, always open, A.J. Brown. They were like, no, we got Treylon Burks. And hopefully Treylon Burks is not hurt seriously because that was a heck of a catch, an unfortunate hit that he took early in the game. But they gave away to the Philadelphia Eagles 9 touchdowns. He had 9 touchdowns right now on the season. I don't think the Tennessee Titans have 9 touchdowns between all their receivers combined. All day, always open, A.J. Brown. And it was a revenge game, Mitchell. He just said, you know what? Remember me? Touchdown, double move, penalty, touchdown. Like, could have did more damage. But like the Tennessee Titans, you can say what you want. You are missing that man. Sure, you may be happy with Treylon Burks. I'm sure you are. And I'm sure the Philadelphia Eagles are very happy with all day, always open, A.J. Brown.
I got news for you, Rich. This is what happens when teams have a plethora of draft picks like the Philadelphia Eagles had last year. They were able to go out and make a bunch of these extra moves, you know, and develop this little team that all of a sudden is surrounded by a bunch of Pro Bowl All-Stars, you know, and get a guy like A.J. Brown.
I just
a team that doesn't
know
want to pay him the money. I
just want to know what the Titans were thinking, Mitchell. Like, who are you paying? You're paying Derrick Henry. You're paying Tannehill.
They're stuck in this identity crisis, Rich. This Tennessee Titans team, they've always been solid. You know, they got a solid defense. They got a heck of a run game, you know, and they just kind of piecemealed it together with Tannehill and throwing the ball down the field. But right, I mean, dude, when they get behind, how do they score? They're not a quick scoring team. They're a grinded out team, and they just manufacture wins left and right. But when they play the heavy hitting teams like the Philadelphia Eagles and they get behind early, they might as well just peace out at halftime because it's over. They're not coming back.
Right, because they used to just be able to throw it up. To who, you may ask? Throwing it up? to all day, always open A.J. Brown. But he said, I want $25 million. They said, you can go to Philadelphia. And Philadelphia said, he can? Yes, here's the draft pick. Give us him so that we can go be the number 1 seed in the NFC. My goodness, what are we doing?
The Eagles are 11-1 for the 4th time in franchise history. Guess what happened the last 3 times?
They went to Super Bowls, Mitchell. They went to Super Bowls. Goodness gracious.
We'll leave it at that. This concludes, what week are we? Week 13, 14, somewhere in there?
I don't know, but we at the week where Nicholas John Bosa is getting Defensive Player of the Year, and if I hear anything, if I hear anything else, I'm calling false. I'm calling nonsense on it. Nicholas John Bosa. Watch the game. Big game. Miami Dolphins, hottest team in football. They ran into a Bosa saw. And it was over with quick. I'm sure if you ask Tua Tagovailoa what he thinks of Nicholas John Bosa, he would have a few things to say. And I'm sure my boy Mike McDaniel was feeling so good coming into this game. He was like, Bosa, pass rushes on everything. He does. And you saw it firsthand. That was his first 3-sack game. Nice.
He's one of those guys, you know exactly what he's doing every time, and just good luck stopping it.
Right.
I'll tell you what, Rich, let's not stop at Defensive Player of the Year. If he can carry this team, if this defense can elevate this team, in spite of what just happened with Jimmy G being out for the season with this foot injury, let's not stop with Defensive Player of the Year. Let's put him in the MVP race, for God's sake. Come on, man.
Mitchell, they never give it to defensive players. I feel like they need to change the award and just give a quarterback of the year award or something, you know what I mean? So you could just take them out of the MVP race so we can talk about the most valuable player, not the guy who just gets the ball snapped to him every play. And of course, if he plays well enough, he'll get the MVP award because he touches the ball every play. So give him a separate award. And then we'll just go most valuable non-quarterback. And then you got a chance at a defensive player winning it because there are some valuable defensive players, but it'll still go to like a receiver or something. But they need to change that, man, soon.
Oh, they've needed to change it for years. It was the same thing with the Heisman, but you finally see some defensive players starting to get some shine with the Heisman too.
Don't get me started with the Heisman.
Well, let's sign it off with this. We finally had the CFP, the college football playoffs were determined. Who do you like in these matchups between Georgia and Ohio State and Michigan and TCU?
Mitchell, it's not even going to be fun to watch. Georgia's going to win it. Georgia's going to win it. That's it. I'm not going to argue and sit there and tell you what I like and what I don't like. The only team that could have beat them is a SEC team, and there are no SEC teams in it. So congratulations to the Georgia Bulldogs on national championship. Because I just don't see it, Mitchell. I don't see it. I could be wrong. It's a miracle could happen, but I don't see it.
All I can say, Rich, is I just can't wait till they expand it to 12 teams so we don't have to listen to Nick Saban talk about how Alabama should be in it every single year after even having 2 losses this year. Just take a seat, Nick. We know you'd be favored in all the games and all, but let somebody else have their moment, please.
Mitchell, when it goes to 12 teams, Bama won't miss it again, ever.
I agree with you on that. Well, Rich, I'll let you sign us off for the night.
Well, I appreciate you guys joining us. If you like what you're seeing, all my day ones and my subscribers, we appreciate you joining us again. Hope you enjoyed the show. See you next week. TNF tonight starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're in LA with the Raiders and the Rams. Can't wait to see you there. See you next week.